demolishing and addition before they came onto something like this. And talking about the structure, it is over 347 years. We can still see it. And interestingly, when you look at the history of this very land, this land changed hands several times among the Europeans. They fought for this land fiercely. Initially, this land was occupied by the Portuguese around 1555. And from the Portuguese, this land again changed hands to the Sweden, in 1654. The people of Sweden constructed a fort on this land. They called it Fort Harrisburg. But in 1658, the people of Denmark attacked the Swedish, took the fort from them. It didn't end there. The Dutch also attacked the Danes in 1660. 4 years later, in 1664, the English attacked the Dutch. So when the English defeated the Dutch, they took the fort from them, and for them they came out with a castle, now Cape Coast Castle. That is the history behind the structure. And also we'll talk about West Africa. Along our coast, we had about 40 European forts and castles. Out of the 40, Ghana had about 30 of them. So you might wonder why Ghana had 30 out of 40. Actually, Ghana had 30 out of 40 because of gold. That was why the Europeans came. The Europeans knew very well from the Arabs that the gold they bought from them had its source in West Africa. And I don't know, have you ever heard of the old Ghana Empire? Yeah, I'm talking about present-day Mali.
Yeah,
Mansa Musa.
Mansa Musa.
Yeah, they had a king called Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa was converted into Islam by the Arabs. So every year he traveled to Mecca. On records, we learned that he took so much gold with him that the value of gold over there came down. This news spread all over Europe. So the Europeans were wondering, where is this gold coming from? They knew very well that the gold was coming from West Africa. That was why the Portuguese traveled all the way from Lisbon to West Africa about 500 years ago in search of gold. And when they got to Ghana, they had what they searched for. That is why some years ago, the Europeans called Ghana the Gold Coast, because of the abundance of gold they had. So Ghana, we had the name Ghana from the old Ghana Empire, which means the land of gold. And currently, Ghana is the leading producer of gold in West Africa. In Africa, Ghana is second. First is South Africa, followed by Ghana. So that is the reason behind the numerous forts and castles in Ghana. But currently, out of the 30 forts and castles, you can only see about 18 of them. And out of the 18, 3 of them are castles. The rest are all small forts. So I'll tell you about the other castles. We have Elmina Castle. We have it about 10 kilometers from here. It happened to be the first European building in tropical West Africa. It was built 200 years later, before this one was constructed. We have the second one in Accra, Christian's Fork Castle, built by the Danes in 1661. So ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the castles we have in Ghana. But with time, we had another purpose for the coming of the Europeans. We had the transatlantic slave trade. I'm talking about the Atlantic slave trade. Cape Coast Castle was actually built for it. So that is the difference between Cape Coast Castle and Elmina Castle. Elmina Castle was built for gold. This one was built for the slave trade. It was built around the time when slave trade was at the peak, where it was more lucrative, or it was more profitable to deal in slaves rather than to deal in gold or diamonds. So today, I will tell you more about the transatlantic slave trade. Before we visit the male dungeons, I want to show you the market, or the auction block. I'm talking about the second floor, or the last floor of that block. Yeah, you find out that some of the windows are partially open. Some years back, that was the auction block, or that was the slave market. Over there, the English merchants will wait on the Africans for them to bring the captives. In that room, the enslaved Africans were exchanged with European goods. Goods like firearms, gunpowder, tobacco, alcoholic drinks, trinkets, and the rest. After they were sold, all the captives were marched to this courtyard. At this courtyard, they were branded. When I say branded, it's simple. They had a piece of metal or piece of iron that bore the name of the slave owner. That part was placed into fire. The part with the inscription was placed into fire till the whole thing was red hot. They brought it out from the fire, either your hand, your chest, or your back was stamped with that hot iron. So the inscription or the mark on your skin identified the slave owner. It also determined where you were going from Cape Coast Castle. After the branding, we had 2 separate dungeons. Behind you, we have the entrance to the male slave dungeon, and about 50 meters from here, we have the female dungeons. So we shall have a look at the dungeons. Any questions or comments? So,